Good day. It's very windy. I'm playing with my new phone, so I just thought I'd take it out. I'm walking the dogs and having a little wander around in the woods, as per usual. Seen some crazy things today. Saw I put it on my Instagram story, a big swarm of bees, a big pile of bees on the grass, just in the middle of nowhere, just in a massive field, and they were out in the open, which is very strange. Must have been hundreds. I might chuck a little clip in here anyway, so we'll see. So just having a wander with the puppies, and the wind is up. It's warm wind, it's nice. I've got my shorts on, nice and comfortable today. And let's just see what we can find. Let's just have a little explore, talk about some things, and enjoy it together. Oh. So already, this is something I want to talk about. This ivy. Hopefully you can hear me. But this ivy climbing up this beautiful oak tree. Ooh, For a start, it does make this tree very dangerous. It's literally getting strangled by the ivy, and you can be a superhero and head on out to your local woods and you can save a few oak trees. You can cut these babies down. Now, I would say this one's a good 35 years old. I've seen a 45-year-old stem and or vine, and this is only a little bit smaller than that. So this has been growing like this, uninterrupted, strangling this tree for decades. So I think what I'm going to do is come back and get that one. In fact, I'm going to grab my axe and my saw, and I'm going to head out and I'm just going to save oak trees. Why does nobody do it? It happens all the time. All the time. These beautiful, gentle giants just getting strangled by ivy. And not just oak, but oak seem to get it pretty hard, I must admit. There's another one here, and you'll notice that the canopy of the oak, well, right at the very top is where you'll see all its foliage. There's hardly any down below. But you'll see like this one, for instance. Here we go again, same problem. See if I can, there. If you look up, I don't know if you can even see, a lot of these leaves are ivy. A lot of the leaves in this tree aren't even its own. So, come on. Someone's actually good on them. This is what we need to do more of. We need to do more of this. Save them. Get this filth off. I still like ivy. I like all plants really. But you got to do your bit. It's all about management, trying to balance nature out a little bit, or help. If we're here for anything, if we're on Earth for anything, it's to look after everything. It's to manage it. It's to help it. Crazy. Holy, this one, oh my god. I got pretty chunky big hands, and this, oh my god, that's 40 years old, no problem. Holy hell. That's insane. Look up into the tree, and the paler green is the oak leaves. Everything else is ivy. I'm sure you've all seen this yourselves. Grab a saw, come and do a good deed. I'll be back. Alright, come on. I don't want to keep boring you with these things, but here's a beautiful prime example. A monster oak tree, and all of the dark green you see is ivy. All the way up to the top. All of this, all of that, all of this, filling it out with ivy. Pretty much owns the tree. Right. I'll stop going on about ivy, but just remember it. It's very, very important to look out for the trees. Oh, look how beautiful. Look how beautiful. Gorgeous, isn't it? It's all about light. It's all about light. I broke my phone, so I've been with that phone for a week. It's really weird because I kind of really enjoyed the fact that no one could get hold of me, and nothing bothered me. There were no prompts, no dings, no dongs, whatever. It was great. But on the other hand, there's certain things that I like to check up on and things that I'm interested in, and I couldn't do any of that. So, but you know, I quite enjoyed it. I still had a nice break, but now I've got my new phone, which is this one I'm using at the moment, having a little play. I really like it. It's a much bigger screen than I had before. I've probably put on a few pounds recently, just not having a phone, because it didn't really go anywhere or do too much. It's weird, back in the day you would have done whatever you wanted, but come on, Knox. Let me just flip round and show you this beautiful view if I can do it. I'm not sure I can. Oh, not good. Come on, phone. I can't flip it. Can I flip it? No. Anyway, I was just about to try and flip it around so you could see how beautiful it is over there. With all the bluebells. Oh, alright, Knox, nice one. Walking through the far east. One of the things that you must remember when you're in a forest or woodland or anywhere natural and wild with trees is to look up. Not enough people do that. And to look down and look in. Don't just look ahead. It's not all just about walking forward. And people do look around. People do enjoy scenery. I'm aware of that. I'm not saying they don't, but it's when you drill into things with your eyeballs, with your senses, that you see things that others don't. Oh, there's that sun. Beautiful. Let me see if I can get some of that. Oh yeah. There she blows. I remember at one point I was sat down just taking a little break in the corner of a woods by an old wall, and I started lifting stones, moving stones about. I do that sometimes. I just lift stones about, and if I'm just sat there chilling, I turn things up the other way and just see what lies beneath. And the weirdest looking little yellow slug was underneath. One I'd never seen before in my life. I knew that instantly. I'd never seen this slug before in my life. And it had a funny little shell, like a heart-shaped shell on its tail. Nothing like a snail or anything like that sort of size, and nothing like I'd ever seen before. It was like a fingernail right on the tip. So I kind of looked at it for a little bit, logged it in my memory, and went back and checked it out. And it's called a worm-eating slug, and they're so rare. Go and find one, I dare you. I bet you can't. Put any money you won't find one, and I'll probably never see one again, but it's called a worm-eating slug. It's the weirdest looking thing, and online you can watch them eating worms, like sucking them in whole, like spaghetti, like open up their whole mouth and just suck the thing in, the same size as their own body almost. It's pretty insane, pretty gruesome as well. Not the nicest thing to look at, but hey, I seen a worm-eating slug. That's all I care about. New, interesting, exciting things. And yes, a slug is interesting and is exciting. David Attenborough says that. Kids should still be interested in slugs and snails. They should. It's healthy. It's good. Beautiful, beautiful Monday evening walk. So, time to head on back. Laters. What a beast. Sprawling. It's got no ivy. It's happy. Woo! Happy oak. We're on the side of a road. I'm not sure how thick this thing is. It's monstrous. It's got a massive trunk. For every inch around the circumference of that trunk, you're looking approximately a year of its life. Just to give you an idea. Riddled with it. Hello, we're back out again. I was in the middle of leaving a little video last time, and the wind picked up and I just had to stop. You couldn't hear a single word I was saying. But I had been talking about trees and things, specifically oak trees and ivy, and the way ivy strangles the poor things. Ivy actually does strangle a lot of trees, but oak is my favourite tree, so I guess I'm more honed into that. But just be aware of it when you see most trees. If you see too much of it, and you can, lend a hand. See, the thing about trees, they supply us with food, shelter, wood, fresh air, quality soil. At the moment we've got this year's little babbers, little squirrels, bouncing around up there. The thing is they fight a lot, the youngsters, and every now and again, because they're not quite versed in the ways of treetop shenanigans, they'll fall. And one died in front of my wife recently, unfortunately. Poor little thing, fell down, and that was that. That was the end. Game over for him. Because of the squirrels, the oak trees can spread far and wide. They carry them and they take the acorns and they bury them elsewhere. Trees would prefer, if they can, to spread as far as they can with their seedlings. Doesn't always happen. Quite often they're nearby or they're just directly underneath them. A tree will also know its own seedling, believe it or not. So if you've got, for instance, in my garden, we've got a big oak tree at the bottom left of our garden in the corner. It's one of the reasons why I wanted the house, because of the oak tree. There's a number of other reasons, but it was a big reason for me anyway. I was well chuffed. It's a big old oak tree as well. It's probably been there quite a long time. But it's got one of its seedlings directly opposite it. And you can bet your bottom dollar it knows it's there, and they speak to each other. If another seedling, another oak tree, was to grow nearby the big oak tree, the mother, we'll call her the mother, she would know which one was her kin, and she would allow more nutrients, more carbon to her own baby than to the stranger. She would still support the stranger and help it grow, because that's what trees do, they look after each other. But her baby comes first, you know. It's weird. Well, it's like real life, all animals are going to do it. The interesting thing about trees is they really do look after other species. They look after each other. Birch, for instance, looks after Douglas fir if it gets sick, which is why monofarming is horrendous. When we go and strip everything out and just grow a load of fir trees, a load of coniferous trees, because it's quick wood, it's soft wood, it grows quick, we can cut it down, grow some more, make a load of furniture or whatever else we want. It's nothing to us, it's just money. But to the trees, they're missing their buddies, their allies. They support each other, it's a support network. And there's so much communication going on under the ground. I don't know whether to go into that or not. I mean, there's quite a lot of stuff to talk about, but once you know it all, it's you don't feel the same when you walk through a forest anymore. It's suddenly a lot more meaningful, and you feel a lot more connected. Good old wild garlic. What a beautiful, beautiful smell as you walk through the forest. There's actually a ton of things you can eat out here, and at some point I'm going to do a video. I'm going to show you some of the things that you can pick at that are quite safe, and some of the things that aren't. So you can see all the wild garlic. It's packed. These guys here, now these are wood ear mushrooms, usually found on dead elder trees, but you can find them elsewhere, most commonly on elder. As you can see, they're called a lot of things, but you can see why they're called wood ear. They're like little ears. There are other versions that you can find elsewhere, which are paler, and they sort of face up and look more like cups. Wood ear always face down, so you know when you found them. They're very distinctive, they've got a look about them. They're like jelly. They're translucent in the middle as well. Let me grab you one a second. So as you can see, they look like a couple of little ears. They don't taste of much, but they absorb the sort of food you put them in. If you put them in a soup or a sauce, they're going to pull in that flavour. Interesting little rubbery texture, translucent inside, very tough little things as well. You can flick them about. They don't break. Don't put them in a frying pan because they pop and fly all over the place. But yeah, fantastic little things, full of nutrients, absolutely packed. Very big in Asian cuisine. Lots of cancer fighting properties and things like that. See if I can make him go inside out a little bit. They're actually really nice to handle, and they're wetter inside, or they feel that way. They're colder, and on the outside they're almost a little bit sort of velvety. Can't really get these guys wrong. They grow on elder, they face down, they look like little ears, they're squidgy. They do change, they vary in colour depending on the sort of tree they're on, but they're always going to look like this. So definitely worth picking. You can buy them in supermarkets now as well, but I'm going to take these ones home. So there they are, just a few for the stir fry. Pretty good little specimens. So the trees all communicate underneath the ground using a multicellular organism called mycelium, or mycelium, depending on where you are. Now, mycelium is like a cobweb, like a spider's web under the ground, like a network, a neural network, sort of thing. Like in our brains, we have our neural networks and our synapses all fire off. We have electrical signals going on, and it's all interconnected. That's exactly what a woodland is like. And mycelium is the way that everything is connected. It is like an internet underneath the ground, allowing all of the trees, all the organisms to communicate, share nutrients, warn each other of impending dangers, things like that. It's very, very, very clever, and it's very awesome. It's underneath my feet right now as I walk. Mushrooms are the flowers or the fruits of mycelium. Mycelium is an underground fungi, and it's called a mycorrhizal fungi. Mycorrhizal basically means it's a friendly fungi, and it works with the woodland, it works with the trees. It doesn't eat them or feed off of them. It's a symbiotic relationship, so they both gain. If the tree was to supply carbohydrates or sugars to the mycelium will supply nutrients to the tree. It's just a fantastic way of everything working. And it's so intricate and so clever. And we don't even know about it. I'm walking on it right now. In one study, I read that plants even play and even count. Look it up for yourself. There's a study on Venus flytraps, which prove that they can count. So these things that we see around us, they're not just dormant, they're not dead, they're not doing nothing. They're very much alive and kicking and communicating. And there's a lot going on, and they should be appreciated. I think they're bloody awesome myself. And I really only started learning about trees, well, about a year or so ago, really getting into it. I've more sort of liked wild camping and being out in nature. I like finding food, I like fishing, but I've not long sort of latched onto trees and plants and mycelium and these underground networks, and just how awesome that is. Anyway, good evening to you all. I'm heading back for a beer and get these little wood ears going. I'll probably have them tomorrow with a stir fry, to be honest. It's probably going to be a chili tonight, which I'm quite excited about. And yeah, signing off. I think my next video is probably going to be a little bit more interesting. Well, actually, to me, this is interesting. I think my next video is probably going to be a camp or exploring somewhere different. Maybe finding some food and talking through that. But for now, have a lovely evening. Go on then. Down we go. So I was going to show you. There she blows. That's my girl. That's my oak tree. And I love her. And over here, that's her seedling, just there. With ivy, unfortunately, but the neighbour's garden, there's not much I can do about that. But over here, we quite often come down here, me and the dogs. I've got like a little bit of wood here that I sit on, or they sit on, and we just sit and look at the view. We see the deer, we see the foxes, we get badgers, we've had all sorts, hare, but yeah, just sit here, don't we, hey? And we just look out underneath this beauty here. Really nice little spot to sit. If you go to follow my Instagram, you'll see some of the shots that I've got from here using the long lens. Some of the deer that I've caught out in the field there, just chilling out. And then along this hedgerow here, we've got a fox, which was nice, just staring right back at me, which is good. It's part of the draw. It's what pulled me in, really, actually, is all the wildlife. I see more wildlife here than when I actually lived in a country. I'm on the edge of Bristol here. We're right on the edge of Bristol. We've got pheasants in the garden every single day. We've got deer, we've had otters coming up the stream. And the stream's tiny, it's just like a little stream. You can see it down there. But they come from the main river and they come up the stream, they jump into people's gardens, and then they take the koi carp. Number 65 has had all his koi carp taken out of his pond by otters. So I could have only, dreamt of things like this when I was a kid, so I'm well chuffed. And then over there, you'll see the woodland. Ooh, sorry, that way. And I go for walks up there quite a lot, and we see more animals and deer and badger sets, and you can forage for food and take the dogs on long walks. But they love it, look at them. Dogs just chilling out. What are you seeing, boy? Oh, boy, up you get then. Oh, what is it? I think that's it for today. My wife's out tonight, which is great, so I can go to bed when I want, eat what I want, watch what I want on TV, love it to pieces, but it's nice to have a bit of me time. Yeah, signing off, and until next time, have a good one.